Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Good evening.
Yes, I can hear you.
Can hear
We
you.
can hear you, sir.
Good evening,
Yes, we
good
can
evening,
hear
good.
you.
Great, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Good to see everyone on this call. It's just after 7 now, so without any further ado, we'll go straight into the presentation. So I'll be calling on Ronke.
I'm here, sir.
Ronke, are you there?
Yes,
Okay, yeah,
I'm here,
please
sir.
do the introductions and let's get the meeting started.
Yes, good evening once again, everybody. My name is Adirunke, and on behalf of our management and entire team, I'd like to welcome everybody to this session. So we are really glad you made the time to be here because today's conversation is one that can truly change how you see ownership. So we are honored to have our MD. He just finished speaking with us this evening, which shows how important this session is to us. We also have our mortgage expert, Mr. Ebisido, who will be taking us through practical and clear steps on how you can begin your home ownership journey with little upfront capital. So please, I want everybody to, listen attentively and then take your notes pad. Like I said, questions will be taken at the end of the session. Mr. Ebisido, Mr. Ebisido, please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good evening.
Oh, okay. All right. So
Good
let's
evening.
get straight into why we are here. Enjoy, everybody.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My
Good
name is
evening.
my name is Ebisido Ovia. I work with City Code Mortgage Bank. Um, a few years of mortgage experience. Um, successfully started and finished up mortgage processes, and I'm just here to share some knowledge with you, help enlighten you so you know what um, opportunities are there for you to lay your hands on as it pertains to owning a property in Nigeria. Today's topic, the topic actually is your complete guide to Nigeria's mortgage opportunities. So we'll be going through just some preliminary info on what a
Sorry,
mortgage
Ebisido,
is.
sorry
Yes, sir.
to cut in. Can you please speak a bit louder? Because I don't know if it's your audio. I can't hear you
Oh,
very well. So if you could just speak a little bit louder.
okay. Is this better?
It's a bit better. You can go ahead, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, much better now. Much better.
Okay, I think I'd have to keep this close. Just give me a sec, please. Let me put this closer up here. Um, okay. So, let's take a dive into the pool and see what we have. Let me go here. I'm sharing my screen. Um, can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, we
We can
can.
see your
Yes,
screen.
we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. So, um, just give me a second to minimize a few things here. Okay, so this is your complete guide to Nigeria's mortgage opportunities. Um, First off, we'll just go through what a mortgage is. Now, a mortgage is it's universal. It's
Marika. Okay.
as it has
The
to do with
concept of
us.
mortgage.
Is someone speaking?
No,
Oh,
continue, sir.
okay. Well, so the concept of mortgage is universal. You get an item, you pay later over a period of time with a guarantee. Um, in this context of mortgage, that guarantee is called a collateral. Um, our history has it that it actually started way back from the ancient Romans. From the ancient Romans, the British took it over. The Americans made what they would of it, and from there it blew up. And we are here now in Nigeria. For us, it was the Nigerian Building Society after our independence in 1960, which was set up, and that society was laden with the responsibility of enabling citizens have mortgages. Well, the entire system was rejigged, and in 1997, the Federal Mortgage Bank was established. Now, the Federal Mortgage Bank is what we have today. So it has stood the test of time, and it has gotten better over time, you know, and has had bigger and greater successes over time. The Federal Mortgage Bank, set up by the federal government, has championed the mortgage cause in Nigeria, you know, and with, giving them credit, they have paved the way for the private sector to also delve into it and to thrive in it. So a mortgage is a large long-term loan used to buy a property where the home itself serves as collateral. It allows the borrower to pay for a property over a long period of time. The collateral makes this loan secure. The collateral makes this loan secure. So that collateral, in terms of mortgages, what you are going to be buying, the property you are buying will stand as the collateral, basically. That's what it's going to be. The collateral makes the loan secure. A mortgage can also be defined as a secured loan that makes home ownership possible by spreading out a huge cost. So you want to buy a property of 250 million naira, but you don't have the 250 million naira cash. But you can afford to buy it over time because of your earnings, your credit ratings. So mortgage steps in to help you see that come true. Now, basic documentations are, first of all, sorry, I skipped, sorry. Now, the elements of mortgage, these are just like basic knowledge, you know, we have the property, we have the equity. For every mortgage, you have to have an initial down payment. You have to have your stake. It's like me going to my uncle saying, hey, I have a house, I want to rent, but I need help with this rent. And my uncle says, well, how much do you have for the rent? The rent is 2.5 million. 4 million. How much? 4 million. How much do you have for this rent? And I say, well, I have 2.3. And he says, okay, I'll give you the balance. So 2.3, somewhat so, stands, you know, as the equity. So you have to have your own portion of contribution. Income and credits, that's talking about you, what you earn per month, you know, and your credit rating, how viable you are. Documents you need to provide for the mortgage. There's always going to be a valuation report for every mortgage. The mortgage will be insured. There will be a search on the title document. And depending on where you go, from PMI, private mortgage institutions, mortgage bank to mortgage bank, the charges may vary slightly, but there are CBN guidelines that make sure there are no excesses, but also give room for the banks to make sure the banks, you know, well, make something out of the process. So moving on, other basic documentation. Now, these are basic amongst others. It's not exhaustive, but you should always bear this in mind. Amongst other things, an offer letter, a property offer, your pay slip, bank statement, identity card. And, like I said, from PMI to PMI, these things will vary. They could vary. Some would ask you for your, it will vary anyway. So, pending. All right. So let's look at the mortgage opportunities which we have. Now, we talked about the Federal Mortgage Bank. The Federal Mortgage Bank has been very instrumental to mortgages in Nigeria. We have to give them that credit. We cannot do but give them that credit. They've been very instrumental. And they have certain products. Now, the first product under these opportunities of mortgage, which I want to bring to light, is the National Housing Fund loan. The National Housing Fund loan is powered by this Federal Mortgage Bank, but you don't get it directly from them. You go through third parties, which are the mortgage banks. So you go through the private sector to get this loan from the federal government. And then the federal government, the FMBN, indemnify themselves from any defaults or whatever. So well, that's between the mortgage banks and the Federal Mortgage Bank. So this loan, you can get a maximum of 50 million naira to buy a house. You take the loan at the rate of 6% per annum, and it's for a maximum number of 30 years. Now, this 30 years is the tenor. How you know your tenor would be based on at what age you would be retiring. So if you are a banker, well, the advised age or the statutory age is 60. If someone is in the educational sector, a professor, they have 65, 70. I think the Senate is looking at stepping it up to 70. I don't know. I can't confirm at this time if they've done that. 70. Medical doctors also have it at 70, 65. So it varies depending on the sector where you are. But so you subtract your present age from that expected retirement age. That gives you your tenure. But whatever it is, maximum number of years is 30. Now, you make your application through a mortgage bank. Like I said, the third party, they're called PMIs. You make that your application through the mortgage bank. So the mortgage banks will require you to open accounts with them and do some, initial clarifications with them. They would profile you and do some other things, at their level and it's at this point where you're with the mortgage bank, they would also get those documents. So those basic requirements I talked about will now come to light at this point. And you would have to provide them, and you'll be profiled. Now, for this NHF, you must be a contributor to the scheme. The National Housing Fund is a scheme. It's like, I know we have a very wide audience, local and international. But it's like a should I call it a pool fund? You're giving money into this pool. You're right. Locally, we'd say something like a job, you're giving money in there, and they say based on the fact that you are giving this money in, you can come and take a loan from that pool of funds. And of course, there's some support from federal government funds, all of those are back end, not necessary for this meeting. So it must be that you are contributing 2.5% of your gross. It used to be the net. they stepped it up to the gross. Initially, this contribution was statutory. It was compulsory. It was compulsory initially, but at about 2.5 years ago to 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, it was no longer compulsory. It was now voluntary. So you can have people in an organization, and 50% of them are not contributing to this, and the other 50 are. So you must be making this contribution to qualify. And then in making this contribution, there are 3 cadres of application. I did mention that the maximum you can get on this loan is 50 million naira. However, not everybody will qualify for 50 million. There are 3 cadres to that. Now, if you're applying for 1 to 15 million, your monthly contribution, should not be less than 10,000 naira monthly. If it's 15 million to 25 million, monthly contributions should be 10,001 to 25,000. If you want to apply for 25 million naira and above to 50, which is the highest, you would have to be doing 25,100 to, infinity, so to speak. So, these are just little something for you to know on that. I did not mention, which is, I did not mention that you need to do an equity, a 10% equity on this mortgage loan. Like in every mortgage, you need an equity. For this one, it's 10%, and they may vary from product to product. That may vary from product to product. All right, the National Housing Fund loan under the NHS also give other loans. There's the renovation loan, there's the estate development loan, there's the construction loan, there's the rent-to-own loan. But these ones, they do not give through mortgage banks. You'd have to go directly to them to sort these out. So when you get to them, their requirements are pretty straightforward. Well, depending on the product, you would have to meet up with the requirements depending on the product. Something new they brought up, so that you also have this knowledge if you happen to be going for this loan. If you're buying a property that's in an estate, part of the requirements is that you have an EIA report, environmental impact assessment report. That's part of the requirement. Sorry about that. My daughter is encroaching in my space. If you could just give me a second or two, please. Grandma, please help me with the baby. Sorry about that. So moving on. We now have the MRIF. The MRIF is call it the new kid on the block. The MRIF is the new kid on the block. Sorry about that. Let me see. The MRIF is the new kid on the block. This one's by the Ministry of Finance Incorporated Real Estate Investment Fund. Sorry. It's stating here that the maximum loan amount is 50. No, it's not. My apologies. I'll just do a quick edit to that. That's what I'm just looking at. No. For this, the MRIF, they finance up to a property up to 100 million, right? A property They can rather give you up to 100 million. It's 100 million. Sorry about this. Just a little typo error here. 100 mil. All right. They give you 100 million. Your equity on this is 10%. The rate is at 9.75. It's over a maximum of 20 years. This one is financed. It's powered by the Ministry of Finance here in Nigeria. They partner with ARM, and then you can also access this through the PMIs, through the mortgage banks. You apply through mortgage banks as well. You must definitely, obviously, be a Nigerian to benefit from it. Now, all of these products have various duration periods, time spans for maturity in terms of when you get the fund. So for the MREIF, you have somewhere, I just put it at less than a month. I personally like to manage expectations because, you know, no two transactions are the same. While someone may get it in 2 days, someone else will get it in 1 week, another person will get it in 2 weeks because of peculiarity of the transactions, you know, based on what that person is providing. For the NHF, that one takes somewhere about a year and a half. But some people really do find that worth waiting for. This one here, under a month, you have it. That's the MREIF. And then we move on to the help to own. The MREIF is it's straightforward. It's what it is. There's really nothing complicated about it. Documents to provide are pretty much as with the NHF and as the mortgage banks will require as well. There may be slight differences from mortgage bank to mortgage bank. So help to own. For this one, the help to own program is under a certain umbrella of the government called the Family Homes Fund program. The help to own is, well, just as it means, they help you to own the property. And for them, they can finance a property that's up to 100 million naira. But of that 100 million, they'll be giving you only 40%. Of that 100 million, they'll be giving you 40% of it. It's like my PMI now, we'll be giving it to you at 9.75. It's over a maximum 20 years. Over a maximum of 20 years. You also apply through a mortgage bank. Your equity on this one is 10%. Now, something unique about this one is that you provide 10% of it. The help to own program gives you 40%. The other 50% should come from the PMI. So you'll be having like two legs of loans, two credit legs in one loan, and then there's a blended rate. That 9.75 is a blended rate between the PMI and the help to own loan. You know, it just brings it up together, blends it up, and that's what I have there. Really, if you were going to just take the PMI, so what I've given you now is specific to city code. This 9.75, it could, once again, from mortgage bank to mortgage bank, this rate may just vary. This 9.75. But so that's what it is. It's a blended rate for the help to own program, right? Then on this help to own program, you have a time frame of on an average 3 months, and your process is done. 3 months from when you have your documents complete to when the PMI puts you have your documents complete with the mortgage bank. They put your documents together, and then they send those documents off to the Federal Mortgage Bank. I mean, to help to own under the Family Homes Program. They would also do that process. So that's something you need to understand about these processes. The PMIs will run certain processes over your application. We know what they would be looking out for. Federal government, on NHF or family homes or MRIF. So we run all of those processes in-house to be sure that those applications will get approvals, you know, at the level where where the monies are to be disbursed. So it goes through those processes in the bank. Like with us in Citico, that's what we do. We'll run through every process, MCC and all of that, make sure everything is in order, and then we send it off. We've had 100% disbursements on this program so far, except for when customers decline on the monies. Then we have the NMRC. Now the NMRC it was put up just to help refinance loans, Nigerian Mortgage Refinancing Commission. There's not really much. What happens with this is that when your loan has been processed, it's been sent off, it's been approved, the loan has been disbursed, and your loan has now been booked and your repayment is on. After a stipulated minimum number of months, I believe it's, if I'm not mistaken, 6 months. I need to get that fact right, but I think it's 6 months. 6 months of consistent pay, no, not missing any month. Then you can apply to NMRC to refinance your loan. Now, in refinancing that loan, they will be giving it to you at a lower rate. If your application with them is successful, they'll be giving it to you at a lower rate than what you had initially applied for with your mortgage bank. So these are opportunities which you have in mortgage refinancing in Nigeria. There are other products also. Of course, there's the commercial mortgage, excuse me, which I didn't put up here. There's a commercial mortgage, and that one runs at commercial rate. These options I've put up here are heavily, should I say heavily subsidized by the government. And so they give you an opportunity to really explore or achieve your dream of being a homeowner to the capacity that you want to, you know, whether it's a 40 million naira house or 100 million naira house, or maybe a 150 or 200, it helps you achieve that dream. It helps you meet up with that goal reasonably over a number of years. And just also for knowledge, there is no, if you'd be paying on any of these loans, whether the NHF, the help to own, there's no penalty for paying down on the loan on time. In fact, the longer you run a mortgage, the more you pay, the more interest, the more you pay on it, the more interest you give to the lender, you know. So, and the shorter time you repay, you make a repayment, the better for you, and really even the better for the bank. Even though you've been giving them more interest over a longer period of time, and paying at a shorter time is better for everyone in the sense that you are reducing their risk exposure. And so you're just giving them an opportunity to go out there and look for someone else who would come in, you know, because the longer you take, the more the risk, the more the uncertainty, and you know, things happen. you know, and sometimes these loans now get difficult to close on, and nobody's really interested in taking anybody's property away. So, that being said, I do hope I've been able to communicate considerably well, and I Ronke, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Yes. I think I've made questions.
Yes, we have some questions in the chat, but I don't know. Should we take the question now, or MD sir, or should it be after your session?
No, let me have my session first, and then we'll take all the Q&A afterwards.
All right, sir.
All right, sir.
So
Okay.
everyone, please just hold on.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ebisido, for that very explanatory presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
You've really broken
you,
down the entire mortgage scheme, what mortgages are all about, and you've given us so many options to pick from, right? So I believe that some of the people that are listening to this presentation or part of this session are people who intend to buy their homes, right? So I want to believe that, of course, I know we also have realtors on this call, but I know I can see a couple of people who are potential homeowners here who would eventually like to own their homes through some of this or at least one of these mortgage schemes. So we'll come back to Q&A. I just want to do a presentation on the products that we are launching today, because today one of the purposes of having this meeting is not just to talk about mortgages, but to also talk about, so let me just put on my camera so you can see my face. So to also talk about the products that we are launching today. Okay, so we'll just go straight into my session. I'll do about maybe 15 minutes to discuss about the products that we're launching, and I'm very excited about the opportunities that we have. The fact that my company or our company is partnering with City-Code on this mortgage scheme. So what this essentially means is that you don't have to break the bank to buy a house anymore. I think that's the good news. You don't have to, gone are the days where you have to be an HNI. By HNI, I mean high net worth individual. You don't have to be a high net worth individual to own a home nowadays. With as little as 20 million, 10 million, 30 million equity contribution, if you earn a decent salary, right? Now, the word decent salary or the term decent salary is relative, but what I would classify as a decent salary is anything somewhat above #1 million. Now, it doesn't mean if you earn below #1 million, you don't qualify. What I'm just saying is that, of course, the higher the salary that you earn, the more the opportunities that you have, because you can access a higher amount if you earn a higher salary, right? So what this means to us is that we are not just building houses for profit-making opportunities, but we're also building houses for social impact. It's part of the whole inclusivity plan of our company. So we're trying to ensure that we solve a national problem, which is the issue of accommodation, right? And we know that an average person cannot afford 50, 60, 70, 80 million naira. Even if you ask them to spread it over 1 year, a lot of people cannot afford that. So that's why we've decided to partner with City-Code to provide these opportunities to you, okay? So like I said, I'll just go straight into my slides. I'll talk about the two estates or the two products that we're launching today. And then after the presentation, we can then take Q&A. If you have any questions regarding any of my slides, you can do that. Or otherwise, if you have questions regarding Ebisido's slides, you can do that as well, okay? So let me just go straight. So can you see my slides? Can anybody confirm that they can see my slides, please?
Yes, I can see your slide.
Yes,
Okay.
sir, we can.
Okay. Fantastic.
We
Fantastic.
can see the slide.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay, so let's just go straight into it. So we're launching two products today. Two products. The first one is called apartments. Now let's go into the details of the Apex apartments. As some of you may know, those of you who have been following us for a number of years, we do not do any property that does not have a perfected title. All our properties have C of O, governor's consent. We are very deliberate about the title of our properties because we don't want to have to put up a property in the market and the property has issues sometime in the future. So we are very careful and we're extremely deliberate about the types of properties that we put out in the market. So this property is no exception. It comes with a C of O, a certificate of occupancy, and it's located in a place called Genesis Court in Badore, Aja, Lagos State. So Badore is located approximately, the location of the estate itself is approximately 10 to 15 minutes drive from the Aja roundabout. So once you get into that roundabout, if you're coming in from Lekki, from main Lekki area, you turn left and then you drive down about 10 to 15 minutes. You get to it in a fully built estate, fully built, roads done, drainage is done. There's even a park. There's a lovely park just outside of the estate where you can just relax, dine and wine with friends. You can have a picnic there. And then there's a transformer, fully dedicated transformer. So you already have infrastructure within the estate that is hosting this particular property. That picture that you can see, the 3D image that you can see on the right-hand side of the screen is exactly how the building is going to look like when it is completed, okay? Now, this is just a run-through of the sort of various features. Like I said, there's ample parking. Obviously, there's going to be a parking within the larger estate and also within the Apex apartment site itself. We have ample parking space, clean pipe-borne water. So in all our building developments, by the way, these two products that we're launching today mark the 7th and the 8th building products that we are launching in our company. We already have 6 products in the market. So these two that we're adding to our portfolio would make it a total of 8 projects. And one thing that is standard across all our building projects is the fact that we ensure that the water that we deliver to all the units is 100% treated water. So clean pipe-borne water is what we promise at the Apex Apartments. I mentioned earlier that the roads are well paved, landscaping fully done. It's a lovely, lovely, lovely estate, beautiful estate. Security is top notch. So we're going to have 2 levels of security. There'll be the first level at the entrance into the Genesis Court estate, and then you'll have a second level of security at the Apex, at the entrance into the Apex apartments. Of course, horticulture and other amenities would also be included. What we didn't even include in this slide is that we're going to have a fully equipped gymnasium and also a children's playground, and potentially we could have a swimming pool as well. So it's going to be a fully enjoyable, fully built estate with all the amenities that would potentially make life good to live and ensure that you are not just living in a house, but you're also able to interact and enjoy some extracurricular activities from time to time. This is another view of the Apex Apartments. This is actually the approach view. This is the side view. And this is the view that shows the swimming pool that I spoke about earlier. So we're planning to put a swimming pool right there, just behind the building, somewhere around the compound within the vicinity of the Apex Apartment sites. So what's the price? These are the prices. For our 2-bedroom semi-finished version goes for 66 million, and the fully finished version goes for 75 million. Now, if you are leveraging the mortgage scheme, what it means is that you would only be paying a deposit, what is called an equity contribution, which could be our minimum is 30%, but depending on your salary, depending on certain dynamics, we could actually drop that 30% to maybe 25%, maybe 20%. But what we have officially is 30%. So you only have to cough out 30% from this 66 or 75 billion, depending on which one you're going for. If you're going for the 3-bedroom, the prices are 82 million for semi-finished and 92 million for the fully finished version. So it all depends on what option you're going for. Now, the second property we are launching is called the Iconic Apartments. So where's the Iconic Apartments located? It's located in a place called Ajayi Akpata, Newtown. Now, we have a number of projects there already. We have the edifice, which is fully built and fully inhabited. People are living there. So the edifice is fully done. We have the Splendor Residences. We have the Statement. The Statement Residences is actually our biggest project. It's the biggest project in our portfolio. That is currently undergoing construction. So this is the fourth project, the fourth building project that we have in the Ajayi Akpata Newtown community. Now, this one is located just beside the already developed edifice apartments. And the good thing is that we already have a fully equipped gym built up. We have a fully equipped gym built up at the edifice. So this facility, if you're living here, you'll have direct access to that gymnasium. And we have a children's playground there as well, right? So we haven't started work, but we intend to start work as soon as possible. Now, that's how the building is going to look like. If you look at the picture by the right-hand side of the screen, that's exactly how the building is going to look like when it's done. What's the title? Title is Governor's Consent. So again, what are the features or amenities? Clean pipe-borne water, ample parking, horticulture, landscaping, security, well-paved road. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a gym, we have a children's playground, we have internet connectivity, fiber optic internet connectivity. It's going to be deployed not just to this particular estate, but to all the estates, all the building projects that we have in our portfolio. We have fiber optic internet connectivity. So this is another view of the building. This is exactly how the building is going to look like. Now, when I say this is how the building is going to look like, I say that with all confidence because we actually have evidence to show that when we design our 3Ds, our actual output not only meets up, in some cases, it actually even looks better than the 3D. So trust me when I say that this 3D is going to be, we are going to actually build something that looks not just as nice, but even better than what you're seeing here. This is another view of the building. So we have a total of 8 units here. Let me go back to the previous picture. If you look at this building, you'll notice that the staircase is not in the center of the building. The staircase is somewhat aligned towards the right-hand side of the building. The reason for that is because we have the 3 beds on the left-hand side and the 2 beds on the right-hand side. So we have an equal number of 3 beds and 2 beds. We have 4 units of 3 bedrooms on the left-hand side, and we have 4 units of 2 bedrooms on the right-hand side, making a total of 8 units here. So what are the prices? These are the prices. Semi-finished 2-bedroom goes for 62 million. Fully finished goes for 71 million. And for the 3 bedrooms, the semi-finished version goes for 75 million. And the fully finished version goes for 85 million. Now, the difference between the two is essentially the cost of finishing. So our estimate is that it will cost about 9 million naira to finish the 2-bedroom. That's why the difference between the fully finished and semi-finished for the 2 beds is 9 million. And we also estimate that it will cost us about 10 million naira to finish a 3-bedroom unit. That's why the difference between the fully finished and the semi-finished for the 3 beds is 10 million naira. Now, the Smart Pay scheme is our mortgage scheme that we are also introducing. I'm not going to talk too much about this because Episode has already done justice to this subject, that I'll just run through. Like he said, it's 9.75% interest rate, fast processing time. Ebisidor mentioned 3 months, and I know that he can actually do less than 3 months. He was just being conservative. I know that under good circumstances, under normal circumstances, they can actually process mortgages in approximately 2 months. Flexible tenor of up to 20 years. If you're going for the Family Homes Funds Help to Own scheme or the EMRIF plan, you have up to 20 years. If you're doing the NHF, right, you can do up to 30, or you have access to up to 30 years in terms of the tenor. Okay, up to 100 million naira mortgage limits for both the FHF and EMRIF. Again, interest rate is 9.75%, fast processing time, and all of that. Okay. Now, equity contribution as low as 3 to 5. Like I mentioned earlier, we're not very rigid on the equity contribution. It all depends on the dynamics of your age, your salary. We look at a lot of factors before we determine what the equity contribution should be. However, what we state in our official documentation is that the minimum should be at least 30%. Okay, so that's really about it. What are the next steps? Are you ready? Ebisidor spoke earlier and he mentioned about the fact that the reason why we're doing this is we are trying to help people make their dreams come to reality. But the first step is to dream. You have to be willing to take that bold step and dream about, look, all of these houses can actually be yours. You don't have to be an HNI. You don't have to be someone who is very wealthy. All you need to do is to take advantage of the opportunities that are available. Someone once said that luck is actually when opportunity meets preparation. This is the opportunity that we're presenting to you. Are you prepared? That's the question. Are you prepared? Are you ready to take advantage of the opportunities that we are providing to you? We're providing to you quality homes. We are providing to you affordability, and we're providing to you flexible payment plans through our partner mortgage bank, City Code. So are you ready? Thank you very much for watching and for listening. At this point, we can go straight into Q&A and we'll take it from there. Runke, over to you.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for that wonderful session. Okay, so Mr. Ebisidor, like I said, we have some questions. Okay, so someone said, who are the PMI? He wants their names. Mr. Ebisidor, I'm suggesting, I think this one is for you. Please, can you answer that?
PMIs are primary mortgage banks. As I mentioned at the beginning,
We can no longer hear you.
I represent City Bank. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, it's better now. We can.
Okay. I said the PMIs are primary mortgage institutions. Okay. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, I work with City Code mortgage banks. Those primary mortgage institutions are the mortgage banks. And I work with City Code mortgage bank.
Okay. Mr. Viren Jayanti, please, I hope this answers your question. I don't know. Okay, so to the next question, Mr. Ebisidor. This person said, where can we get PMI? NHF?
Where can we get
PMI?
Okay, so PMI is the mortgage bank. Where can you get the mortgage bank? The mortgage bank is here with you. I'm talking to you right now. And then where can you get NHF? You get NHF at the mortgage bank. Once you decide on which of these properties you want to key into, then you approach us and then we take you through the process, carrying P1 along. Of course, you will come to us through P1 and all of that. So,
okay. Okay, I think this also answered the question to how to access all this. So the person, Mr. Coyote, I don't know if you're still here, but if you can hear me, if you want to access this, you can message us and then we will take it from there. Then this person is asking, where is this mortgage bank around Koshofe local government? Do we
Yeah,
have a branch?
so we are not at Koshofe.
So,
We are at Lagos Island. CMS. Once you get to CMS, Lagos Island, we're there. You don't need to go first. That's where we are.
okay, thank you for that. Then Mr. Kayode also asked, is your group helping to access the opportunities and how do you go about it?
How we go about it is, well, we counsel you on the mortgages, we profile you, we have to see what you can afford, advice on what your repayment should be. So that's what we do. But once you indicate an interest, you come in, you'd have a solution.
Okay, thank you for that. So another person asked, please, can we have this slide? Okay, yes, we are going to share the slides after this session. We either share it on the group, or I think the best way to just share it is to share it on the group. So the slides will be shared after the end of the session. So someone also said, thank you for this, Mr. Bamidele, my honorable EMMD. So another person is saying, what of those who are not salary earners? How do we access these mortgage opportunities?
So for those who are not salary earners, just come in with your good credit rating. It's slightly different for the NHF. For the NHF, everybody has to be a contributor to the scheme. As a self-employed person, you would have to register as self-employed with the Federal Mortgage Bank and start making those remittances to the Federal Mortgage Bank. You do that as an individual, as self-employed. They have really improved in their processes in many ways. So right now, you can they have a portal where you can track your contributions. You are sure of your every monthly contribution. You just need to log in. You get a number, they call it NHF number. Put in that number on that portal and all of your transaction history can pop up and you say, but you can just get registered. I think I can also share the link with PWAN and PWAN can get across to you. So as a self-employed person, you can just go ahead, register, declare what you think needs to be is your salary, depending on what you want to apply for, and make sure you meet up with that monthly contribution. So when it's time for the mortgage loan, we do our part to make sure your credit is in check, that you can afford what you're applying for that.
All right, thank you for that. So another person asked, what salary range is enough to access this for your minimum estate price?
Is that
Should
to me
I?
or to Mr. Bamidele?
Yes, it's to you, sir.
Okay,
Mr.
so
Chidon. So this person said, sorry,
there's
sir. Sorry. So this person said with 200 to 250,000 naira salary, can make this be achieved? I don't get that part. But I
okay, I
think what
get
this
him.
person is
I
trying
get
to
him.
say is he earns 200 to 250,000 naira salary.
Yes. Okay. So this question has actually brought to light that I left out a certain critical, vital information, which is that you cannot make your repayment with more than 1/3 of your income. So if you earn 1 million, you cannot make your monthly repayment with more than 333,000 naira. So as for if 250,000 or 200,000 naira can meet up with what has been presented by PWAN, I would not say yes or no. It would depend on what your equity is. Your equity could just, for the 77 million naira house, who knows? Your equity could just very well be 50 million, even though you're earning 250. Maybe your father is some heavyweight somewhere, you have some inheritance you can dig into, so we will not dismiss anyone based on face value. We would want to look into the details to see, because you could just like I just said, you could very well be able to muster up some good equity that could balance up with your monthly repayment and make things stable. So we would have to attend to you as a transaction, not on a general speaking terms. Because if you recall, during the presentation on one of the issues, I did mention that transactions vary. When I was talking about how long it would take with the authorities for approval, one transaction may vary from the other because of certain intricate details that need closer looking into, or so it would vary. So we would have to look into it to say yes or no. We can't just give a blanket response right now.
All right, sir. Thank
Sorry,
you.
Ronke, let me comment. I'm not sure that question was directed at Bisido, because if you look at it, it says, what salary range is enough to access this for your minimum estate price? So he was talking about our products, not necessarily, yes. So that was actually directed towards me. And I will give a quick response just to add to what Bisido has said. When I presented, I said that you ideally have to earn a decent salary, and I mentioned that the word decent is relative, right? It's not something we can actually fix a particular amount to. But as Episode has said, even if your salary is 100,000, it doesn't preclude you from investing in our properties through mortgage. The only issue would then be that you'd have to fund you can't access much because of the rule that says you cannot fund a mortgage with more than 1/3 of your salary. So you can't access much. So what that then does is it puts a lot more pressure on the equity side. So if property is worth 100 million and you only earn 200,000, you can still do the mortgage. But what it means is that you'll probably be spending about or investing about 90 million or 95 million out of that 100 million as equity, while the remaining 5 million or whatever it is that you can obtain will then be funded through the mortgage. So we try to, and we know that a lot of people cannot afford that huge equity. In fact, the major reason why they're going for mortgage is because they don't have the equity. They don't have much in terms of the equity, right? So we typically would advise people with salary ranges within that part of those figures to perhaps maybe when you earn a bit more, right? You can then come back, right? If you don't have the equity, then it simply means you just cannot afford it. You just don't have the capacity. Now, as much as we're trying to make this an inclusive scheme, right? We also have to be real with ourselves and realize that not everybody can afford it. Now, the fact that you can afford it today doesn't mean in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years time, you won't be able to afford it, right? So essentially what we're saying is if you don't have the salary to accommodate a huge amount, you must have an equity contribution or a deposit somewhere that can make up for that balance. But if you don't have the salary, you don't have the equity, you simply cannot afford it. So it's really not a yes or no answer. It's really more an answer that will be provided when we have a sit down and we look at all the circumstances, including your age. Your age is also very important. That also plays a very important role in determining whether you can afford to acquire any of our properties with your current salary.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Gabriel.
There's a hand up. Sorry, Ronke, there's a hand up. His hand has been up for a while. I don't know. I think we should take. If you have anybody's hands that are
help no. Oh no, Daddy Pop. I want Tennessee. I want tenancy.
Let's take the hands that are up first, okay, before we go into the comments.
Okay.
Good
So,
evening.
Mr.
Good evening.
Uche.
Good evening, Mr. Bamidele. Good evening, Aderonke and the rest.
Good
God bless
evening,
you.
sir.
Please, can I get a recording of this meeting? Because I joined very late. Please, I want the recording, not just the slide. Please, is it possible?
Yes, it is possible. It will be shared at the end of the session, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Let's see if there's any hand raised. Okay. We don't have. Okay, so back to our questions in the chat. So the next question says, is the interest fixed? If one starts with the 9.75%, can it change over time before the payback period is completed, or it is fixed?
Is this fixed?
Okay, thank you, sir. So the next question is, does the 30% equity means the individual has to pay it by himself as
Okay,
initial?
someone raised his hand. Someone raised. I said we should let's take the those that raised their hands first, and we can take the comments later.
Okay, the
Is
hand
an
wasn't raised
engineering.
before I entered the chat. That was why I came back to the chat. Okay, so Mr. Engineer Rinze, please, you can ask your question.
Hello, good evening, everybody. What
Good
I want to
evening.
know is, at what point will the person be handed over the key? Is it when he complete the payment, or when he starts? When at what stage will he move into the house?
Okay, let me answer that question. So the way we arrange, the way it works is essentially the moment the property, the mortgage has been approved and we have received disbursements. Remember, when the mortgage is approved, the mortgage bank, the PMI, will disburse to us, P1 Stars. They will disburse to P1 Stars directly. Once we receive that disbursement, at that point, if the property is ready, you can move in. You can move in, you can rent it out, you can do whatever you want to do with it. The only thing you cannot do is that you cannot sell it. But you can move in the moment we receive disbursement. As long as the property is 100% ready, you can move in. So that's when we hand over the keys upon the confirmation of disbursement from the mortgage bank.
Okay,
Are you okay with that
Engineer
response?
Rinze.
Sorry, can I also add to that? Good evening.
Okay.
Sorry, MD. Meaning that you'll be paying the mortgage bank directly. Do you understand?
I think it's off the call.
Mr. Rinze?
It's no longer.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I said meaning that, you were asking that when will you get the key? That's it when you finish paying. You'll be paying the mortgage bank directly, but you will have been handed the key once the mortgage bank pays P1 Stars, like the MD said.
Okay. But if I move in, I will continue paying the monthly contribution. See, when if it's 10 years or 20 years, see, when I finish paying, right?
Yeah, exactly. To the mortgage bank.
Okay.
All right. So the next person will be Mr. Orlando Pero.
Good
Hello.
evening, everyone.
Good evening. Please ask your question, sir.
Okay, so my question is, assuming I have a mortgage stretch for a period of 10 years, and the interest rate, for instance, is 9.75, like you said, assuming I decided to pay up in 5 years instead of 10 years, will the interest rate be reviewed?
No, sir.
No,
Okay.
Mr. Orlando. Mr. Bisido answered to this question earlier. He said the interest rate is fixed.
Okay, so whether I'm paying earlier than the scheduled period or not, I'm paying the same rate of
Exactly.
interest.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
All
But
right.
unlike some others would, we do not take there's no penalty for paying off your loan earlier. Instead, we are glad that you do because it reduces our risk exposure. So the earlier you pay off, we celebrate. Happy for you and
Yeah,
happy
I
for
was
us.
actually thinking that if one decide to pay up at a shorter period, there probably would be a review of the interest rate to make it maybe lower since the person decided to pay the loan a shorter period of time.
No, sir,
Thank
there
you.
will not be a review to that, sir.
All right, thank you.
But let me add to that. Remember that what you, Ebiseda mentioned this earlier, and I would also like to expatiate on it. The shorter the tenor, the lower your obligations to the mortgage bank. So even if the interest rate is not reducing, the amount that you'll be required to pay over 5 years is lower than the amount you'll be required to pay over 10 years. So the rate may not reduce, but the absolute amount that you'll be paying will be lower. Do you
Please,
understand that?
can you expatiate? I don't understand that part. The amount. Okay, the idea I have is this. Um, assuming I am assuming I'm taking a mortgage on a property, and let's say the property is 100 million naira, and maybe the equity I have to pay, for instance, is 10 million, which means the mortgage bank is paying 90 million to the developer or the owner of the property, and so the interest I'm going to pay 9.75% of the 90 million. So, which probably will build into running into maybe about 90, maybe close to 90 something million. And then how does this money become lower if I am paying faster?
Okay, the mortgages are done, the mortgage repayment is done based on annuity principle. I don't want to go too technical because I'm not sure what your knowledge of finances is, but it's annuity is essentially means that you pay a certain fixed amount, right, over the course of the mortgage. That's how annuities work. Unlike reducing balance where the amounts that you pay reduces with time. With annuity-based structures, it's a fixed amount over a period of time. Now, essentially what this means is that the longer the tenure of the facility, the more the amount, because the amount, you are paying an interest over a longer period. So if you are paying interest over a 20-year period, right, the amount in total that you'll be paying over that 20-year period, because it's accumulating over a longer period, the amount will be higher than if you are paying over a 1 year or a 2-year period. Because the period that the interest is going to apply on the principal is shorter. So essentially, the total amount you would pay would be lower. Does that add up? Do you understand that?
Yes, yes, I am trying to, put it together, which means the interest is calculated every time based on how much is left that I have to pay.
Yes,
Hello, good
essentially.
evening, sir. Good evening, sir. So let me rephrase the question. I think the question is really applicable. Truly, what he's saying is this. The question, no, the question is this: if I have a tenure of 10 years, and then I had some money that I now try to pay early, maybe I made some payment earlier than it should be, then because instead of let's say I am supposed to be paying maybe 2 million every day, every year. I mean, every month. So I now doubled it and I started paying like 3 million, 4 million, and then thereabout. So how does this affect the tenure and how does it impact on the payment terms? That's the question.
Yeah, just as I said earlier, if your instance you got an approval for 10 years, the interest will be calculated over a 10-year period, right? Now, assuming you got a promotion in your job, in your place of work, and you now earn more, and you've now decided to reduce the tenure from 10 years to 5 years. What that
Yes.
means is that you'll be paying more on a monthly basis, right? But the overall amount that you will pay to the mortgage bank would be lower for 5 years because the mortgage bank will not charge you
You're not
for
getting the point.
the
The point is
second
this.
5 years.
The point
Okay,
is
maybe
this.
you should explain a bit better.
He has
Yes.
already marked 10 years and the time is on. Suddenly he has a promotion and he earns more and he's been able to pay more. So instead of spending 10 years to complete the payment, he's now shortening it to maybe 5 years or 7 years to to completion. So what impact would it be on interest? So
Can I respond,
that's
sir?
the question.
Okay, Ambassador, please, can you come in? Come in. Maybe you have a better response than my response.
So his question is quite direct, and it does not have any impact to say on it does not have any impact on the mortgage terms. I'll give you a practical example. Just about a week ago, someone came in engaging in his drawdown process to get the money out of our system. What we had booked him for was how many years? Was it 20? And based on the loan amount and the interest rate on that particular product, if he would go for the maximum number of years of 20, which he was qualified for because he's 37 years old, he would be paying like 12 million naira or thereabout. That's how much he'll be repaying. But if he reduced it to less than half the years, which I think he said he wanted 3 years or 4 years, when we looked at it, the total payment with interest over those 3 years was like 5 point something. So like, oh, you go for that. So that's what, just to speak to what Mr. Bamidele is saying about paying over a longer time and paying on a shorter time. However, if he fulfills this payment over a shorter period of time, we are not going to be reviewing any interest rate or giving some kind of rebate or something. The contract remains binding as it is. It's just that, like I said, when you pay off earlier, we are happy for you and happy for ourselves because it reduces our risk exposure. Uncertainties are cut off, you know. So I hope that really answers your question. There's not going to be any change to the contract or in terms of the percentage or loan or anything at all. It just remains as it is, that you've paid at a shorter time and you have
So
paid
what it means
an
is
X
that
amount of money.
the moment you are locked in.
How do you mean, sir? How do you
Yeah, the
mean?
moment that is the time you have just used. The moment you locked in the contract, you can't change it again. There can be no variation. There can be no conditions that will warrant the contract to be reviewed.
There can be a variation, like I said. The contract which
That
you
means that
sign.
what you're saying now contradicts what you said earlier.
No, let me land. There can be a variation in terms of what I've said earlier. The variation is that the provisional offer, the final offer given you is for 20 years or 15 years, and then you are making the payment off in 7. There's no penalty for that. Because if we dragged to say no, pay it over those numbers, that 15 years we paid for, because we say you'll be giving us more money, you'll be paying more money into our system. No, we don't do that.
What you're saying that you have a simple interest, not a compound interest. For a compound interest, the more you pay, the less your payment, the less your interest.
And sir, you know, these calculations are based on many factors, from the NHF to the help to all. But the question has been answered, sir. It's just many technical things coming up. But there will be no review to the contract as it is.
Yes, we are saying the same thing. I said the contract is locked. The moment you are locked in, you are locked in. And you told me there's a variation, that the variation can be taken. Then you go back again to tell me again that the moment the contract is locked in. So I don't know why you're going back and forth on your words.
Sorry about the confusion, sir.
Yeah.
Ronke.
Okay. So the next question is, does the 30% equal? Okay, I think I've taken this one.
There's a hand up, Ronke. Sunday Abu. Sunday Abu, please go ahead with your question.
Sunday Abu, please go ahead with your question.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Mr. Bamidele, thank you for your presentation and your co-presenter. My question is concerning your products. The amount there, let's say if I'm coming to buy the product now through the mortgage, so there's no way that we can renegotiate so that you can slash the price down.
Is that your question?
Yeah, that's one of my questions. And the second one is, apart from, let's assume that we have agreed a certain price for one of your products, would there be any other payment that I would be paying after the mortgage bank have disbursed the money to you? Is there any other payment that I will be paying to your company?
Okay, just those two questions, right?
Just answer this one then now. I think the Apple 3.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sunday Abu, for those questions. So the first question is, can you negotiate? Essentially asking if you can negotiate the prices. The prices are fixed, and we typically do not entertain negotiations because, as a matter of fact, we are actually exposed to significant inflation. If you are current with what is going on in the economy, you'd agree with me that one of the challenges we're facing is high levels of inflation. So we typically do not entertain, except in very peculiar circumstances. But that will not be the first suggestion, or that would not be the first process that would engage when we are discussing prices. We would assume, especially given the fact that we are working with mortgages that provide single-digit interest rates. Those interest rates are already significantly subsidized, as Ebisido alluded to earlier. So that in itself is already like a quote-unquote discount, the fact that you are getting mortgages at single-digit interest rates. Now, does it mean that we do not sometimes sell to people at prices that may somewhat be a little bit lower than the market prices? Of course not. There are some times that we do provide, especially if the client is a repeat client. If you are coming back to do more business with us, we have what we call our loyalty programs. So if someone has bought properties from us before and they come back to do more business with us, we will put that person under our loyalty programs, and they may be entitled to a discount of about maybe a maximum of 5%. Okay, but ordinarily on the face of it, our prices are as stated on our flyers. So that's the response to the first question. On this, regarding whether there are other payments, yes, there are other payments. So beyond what the mortgage bank would finance, the mortgage bank essentially is financing the purchase of the unit itself. It typically doesn't cover the cost of infrastructure. Okay, in some cases, What we do with our clients is we add up the cost of the units and the cost of infrastructure. We'll add everything up. I will put that into the package, and the mortgage bank can finance both, right? But ordinarily, it's really just the building, the unit itself that they're financing. So there are other charges that would be applicable post payment for the units. Now, those amounts they vary from projects to projects. For some projects, you pay a certain amount. For some other projects, you pay a different amount for infrastructure and for legal. So I don't know if that answers your questions.
Yeah, that answers my questions. And the third one is I know you say that you partner with the mortgage bank that has its representative here. I've forgotten the name of the mortgage bank. Then
City Code Mortgage Bank.
Code. Okay. Is it only the City Code you partner with?
No, it is not only City Code. We actually have a relationship with one or two other mortgage banks, but we have been doing business with City Code for quite a while now. I think we've known them for about 5-6 years now. So we just prefer to deal with them based off of that relationship that we've built over time. Now, it doesn't mean we are restricted to working with only City Code, but City Code is our preferred partner at the moment.
Okay. For the sake, we know we are in Lagos. For the sake of verification of land issue, is it the mortgage bank that will go ahead and check if what you say, because in your presentation, you say some of the property have a C of O, some have a governor consent. Is it the responsibility of the mortgage bank to go and verify, or is it the responsibility of your buyer, your client, to go to Alausa to make all those verifications? Thank you.
Okay, so that's a very good question. Now, ordinarily, when you're buying into any property, it is your responsibility as a buyer on paper to ensure you do your due diligence before you purchase a property, whether it's land or building. However, the fact that we are involving a mortgage bank and the mortgage bank has accepted to provide mortgages to our clients, that in itself should provide some comfort, because the mortgage bank would not transact with us if they have not done their checks and they've not done their due diligence. Because as the ambassador said earlier, they are the ones taking the risk. And so part of their internal processes involves doing due diligence on the developers they are partnering with. So they would not, before it's part of their process. At the moment we introduce any property to them to say, we have a client, we have off-takers who want to buy into this particular project, one of the things they would first of all do before they sign off on any documentation is to go and check the records to be sure that our documentation is complete and there are no encumbrances. So what this means is that beyond whatever due diligence you may want to do, the mortgage bank in itself would have done their due diligence because they are the ones taking the bulk of the risk. So it flows both ways. You can do yours if you want, but the mortgage bank is also they're also going to do their own due diligence before they agree to work with us.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Madam Landlady Bassi, please can you ask your question, ma? Hello, Madam Bassi, are you there? Okay, I think she's not there. So let's go back to the chat. The questions in our chat. Okay, so this person said, does the 9% interest include the equity or 30% down payment? I'm not sure. Okay. Does the 9.75% interest include the equity or 30% down payment? Mr. Abisido, I think this is for you.
No, it's on the loan aspect of the transaction. It's on what you are taking as a loan, not what you provided as an equity.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I missed some questions up there. Okay, so Mr. Bola Kale asked, he said, what are the available properties and their locations? MD, sir, please, this is for you.
Yeah, as I presented earlier, so we have the two that we just launched today are the Apex Apartments in Baduri, Aja, and the iconic apartments in Ajaya Pata, Shangotedu. Those are not the only two projects we have. Like I mentioned, we have a total of 8 building projects in the market, meaning that we have 6 others. So if you want to have the full rundown of all the projects that we have in our portfolio, you can go to our website, which is www.p1stars.ng. Once you go to that website, you'd see the full list of all the building projects that we have in the market.
All right, sir. Thank you. Mr. Gabriel is asking, what is the name of your mortgage bank? Mr. Ebisido, this is for you, sir.
City Code Mortgage Bank Limited. City Code Mortgage Bank Limited.
Okay. So the next question from Mr. Victor, he said, what if there is a joint plans from my family members to do this? If each of us earn 250,000 naira and we are 4 trying to contribute to get it done, how would one be considered on a personal level or based on the contribution? Do you want me to take this again, Mr. Ebisido?
I got that. I got
Okay,
it.
great.
So there can be joint sponsorships of these mortgages, but those joint sponsorships can only be between husband and wife, not brother and sister. So there could be a support sponsor for a mortgage, but it would be between spouses, not siblings or cousins or friends.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, so I'm sorry, before we go to the next person in chat, John, please can you allow everyone on mute? Madam Bassi said she's trying to unmute, but she can't. That's why she couldn't speak when I called her. So while you are doing that, let me quickly take the next question in chat. So this person said, I would like to know more about renovation mortgage loan you mentioned earlier. Mr. Ebisido.
The nitty-gritties of that renovation mortgage loan, the mortgage banks don't do that. The Federal Mortgage Bank gives that directly to the customers. There's no third party, there's no middleman. So you have to go to them directly. They profile you directly. As to what the criteria are, I have an idea. They'll definitely want like a bill of quantities for you. What's the extent of what's the extent of renovation do you want to do? And then, you have that bill of quantities and then they put that on. Of course, they'll profile you, but specific details as to all of what they would require, I really don't have that handy right now, but this could probably help you get ready. But just walk into Federal Mortgage Bank and tell them you need a renovation loan.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, Madam Bassi, can you speak now?
Can you hear me? Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you so very much. Thank you, my MD. So my question is actually, I was trying to type it anyway, is it actually a follow-up? So if the mortgage house have disbursed to P1 Stars and the property is ready, MD said it will be handed over to the investor. So my question is a follow-up question. Will the document of the property be handed over to the investor at that time or at the time of completion of payment? Because he did mention that the property will be handed over to the investor and the investor can either move in, rent it out, whatever, but it's not allowed to sell the property. So I want to know, at what point are the documents of the property handed over to the investor? Is it at completion of payment or the moment the property is handed over to the investor? Thank you.
Okay, it's at the time, I mentioned, yeah, you're right. I mentioned it earlier that the clients or the investor or the buyer can do can move in, they can rent out the property the moment the mortgage is approved and we receive disbursement, but they cannot sell. Now, the reason they cannot sell is because the property would be used as, the property itself is supposed to be used as a security for the facility. So the title documents are supposed to be kept with the mortgage bank. So they would hold on to that pending the time that the investor or the buyer completes their payments.
Payment. Okay.
Okay. Ebisido, do you want to corroborate what I've just said?
You're correct, sir. In
Okay.
that time where the document would reside with us, registration and perfection will commence.
Okay. Thank you so
That's
much.
to register.
Okay, thank you, sirs. Okay, so the next question is for us. So this person said, why doesn't P1 do 4-bedroom duplex apartments? Sir, this is for you, MD.
The reason is quite simple. It's because we are trying to ensure that our properties are affordable. If we were to do duplexes, 4-bedroom duplexes, 4-bedroom apartments, the price range, the price points, especially for duplexes, would be a lot higher. I'll give an example. The average price of a 4-bedroom duplex in Shangotedo, Aja area is approximately 140 million, 150, 160 million, depending on the developer. Some developers may even be selling for close to 200 million. That's what the current rates are today. Now, most people do not earn enough to be able to afford, even with mortgages, to be able to afford properties within that price range. So we try to keep our properties affordable as possible. And that's the reason why we opt for apartments. Now, 4-bedroom apartments, well, yeah, we could look into that. We could look into having 4-bedroom apartments, but even at that, even though they are apartments, because they are 4-bedroom apartments, they are likely to be bigger than your typical 2 or 3-bedroom apartments, which also means that the prices are likely to be higher than what we have today, right? So an average 4-bedroom apartment would go for maybe 110, maybe 120 million. Again, that exceeds the sort of benchmark that we've put for the prices that we intend to sell our projects. So it's something that we're looking to. Possibly we may be doing it subject to demand. If we see that the demand for it is strong, we may look into having bigger apartment spaces, or even going into semi-detached duplexes or maybe terrace duplexes, just so that we have a bit of a variety and we're able to reach a bit more people with varying tastes and interests. But for now, our primary focus is to deliver quality at an affordable price.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, so the next question is P1 Star a subsidiary of P1 Group?
Yeah, it's we're called affiliate companies. So we a sort of partnership. We're into a sort of, it's typical, similar to how what you have with franchise arrangements. So we have this franchise type arrangements where we run various. There are different companies that use the P1 franchise. They are all independent. They all run separately. They all have different boards. They all have different management teams. So we are P1 Stars. Of course, there are several other companies that use the P1 franchise, but they are totally different in terms of their corporate governance, in terms of their board structure, in terms of their management teams. So we are all very much independent, and we all do different lines. We all operate in different lines, although we are all within the real estate space, but we are totally independent companies.
All right, sir, thank you. So the next question says, what are the penalties or implications if one fails to pay within the period due to some circumstances beyond control? I'm guessing this question is on mortgage and it's for Mr. Chistoye.
Yes. So
Mr. Bisida, we can't hear you, sir.
He's muted. Did you mistakenly mute
Oh,
yourself?
can he? Okay, yes, sorry.
Okay.
So, the question again, please.
Okay.
It was on insurance, right?
Okay. Okay, so the person says, what are the penalties or implications if one fails to pay within the period due to some circumstances beyond control?
Okay. So the answer to that is insurance, not that the question is on insurance. That's right. Okay. So every mortgage loan is insured. You would pay a certain insurance. This is at the point where the loan has been approved and it's about to be disbursed. There's an insurance you pay on the mortgage loan. So if for any reason, perhaps loss of job, ailment, and even death, if there's some stuff that happens and you're not able to pay, the insurance company will kick in for 6 months. The insurance company will kick in for 6 months to make sure the repayment is intact. However, once 6 months are done, it's expected by policy that someone should have gotten his or her feet back, or be able to make arrangements for that repayment. So that's what it is. As per, I believe the person did mention penalties. There's no penalty exactly per se. We would just be there's a human face to all of these. As much as there's a recovery team, at this point, they will definitely kick in if it's getting to the stretch where insurance is done and then the repayment is not coming in still. But not to worry, the bank is never in a hurry to go the whole 9 yards. Nobody's interested in taking anybody's property. We always put a human face to these transactions, and we know life happens to people. However, business is business, so you would just be expected to step up and live up to your responsibilities. So I hope that answers your question.
I hope it does. Thank you, sir. So another person asked, in a case where the government claimed that the land in which property was built is not approved or documents are fake, and client has purchased the property from PWAN stars already, how do the company tend to handle such scenarios? MD, sir, this is for you.
Okay, so it's a very simple answer that I'll give you. All our clients are protected by our contracts. So we have what is called an indemnity clause that protects all our clients. So we take the risk on behalf of our clients. If in the unlikely event that there is a third-party claim, now in this case, that third-party claim could be from the government. If there's a third-party claim or an adverse claim on any property that we have in the market, we will be responsible for covering that claim on behalf of the clients. Now, that indemnity could come in form of relocating the client to another property of equivalent value. So we're not going to relocate you to a property of lower value. We'll relocate you to a property of at least equivalent value. Or in some cases, as a last resort, we could look into the option of a refund. But the most important thing is that where there is a claim, a third-party claim or an adverse claim on any of our properties, which is very unlikely to happen because we do extensive due diligence, but we know that it can happen. Things can actually go wrong, right? In such cases, the contracts that we sign with our clients provides that full protection. Is that okay? Sunday Abu, did you get that? Does that answer your question?
I hope it does.
Yes. That's answer my question. I'm okay with that.
Okay,
I'm okay
thank
with
you.
that. And
Okay.
I have a question for
The
the
mortgage,
mortgage.
yes.
Yes. My question is, let's assume that I'm subscribing to them what is the mode of payment? Is it that I will personally be sending the money to the mortgage account, or they will be deducting it from my monthly salary by themselves?
There'll be a standing order set up on your account, your salary account. So that it's an automated process. So that's how that will be taken care of. There'll be a standing order set up.
Okay. And secondly, let's assume that my wife is the one that we are using our profile, and I'm a business person, and I wouldn't want the loan to extend for like that 20 years, as you said. I want it to be truncated to like 9 or 8 years. So I'm assuming that I'm, contributing extra, let's say 5 million naira from my end every year. In what way? Is it that the mortgage bank will be providing me an account number that I'll be sending the money to, or how is it going to look like?
The credit team will handle that. So both of you, a standing order will also be set up on your account for repayment to that loan. Or what you would do is set up a standing order on a predated basis to credit your wife's account, so that when her own standing order will be taken, your money will be there in her account, and then to be lifted. So.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so last question. This person said, what happened if my investor... Oh, okay, sorry, this is not the last question, but this is for MDs. So the person asked, what happened if my investor has finished paying for our apartment and wishes to relocate abroad and wants to sell our apartments? Can she?
If she has finished paying for the apartments, there's nothing stopping her from selling. It is her fundamental human right to sell her apartments. If she has completed, the only time, like I said earlier, the only time she cannot sell is if she is still paying for the apartments, whether it's via a mortgage or through any of our payment plan options. But if she has completed payments, she has been handed over her documentation, she's at every will and liberty to sell. And we could also market the property for her, sell it for her. And of course, whatever commission is likely to emanate from that transaction will be passed on to us. So the bottom line is, as long as the property is yours, once you finish paying for it, it's yours. You can sell, you can live in there, you can rent it out, you can do whatever you want to do. It's yours. So there's nothing that stops her from selling her property once she has completed payment.
Okay, so our last question says, Mr. Adewale, can you please tell us again about your properties and their locations?
I'd mentioned that you can go to our website, www.p1stars.ng, to get a full list, but I can do a quick run through. So we have the Edifice Apartments in Ajaya Pata. Title is Governor's Consent, is already completed, fully completed and inhabited as I speak to you. Then just beside it, we have the newly launched Iconic Apartments. That's one of the projects we just launched today. That comes with the governor's consent. And then beside it, we have the Splendor Residences. Also comes with the governor's consent. It's off plan. We've started construction already. We're currently at the foundation level. And also within Ajaya Akpata, we have the Statement Residences. Also comes with the governor's consent, and we've started construction work already. Now we have three other projects within the monastery area, right? We have the Platinum Apartments. It's a 9-unit development. Title is C of O. We have the Sinosure Apartments, governor's consent, and we also have the Cityscape Apartments. That one comes with a C of O. We're doing a total of 18 units there. 12 units of 2-bedroom and 6 units of 3-bedroom. And then finally, the last but not the least, we have the Apex Apartments, the second project that was launched today. The Apex Apartments is located in Badore, Aja. So those are all the projects that we have in the market currently.
Thank you, sir. So for messages, for our questions in chat, we do not have none, and we don't have any hands raised as well. So I don't know if Mr. Bisido or MD wants to say something before we end the meeting.
So,
Bisido, do you
sorry,
want to
I have
say
a question.
one or two things? Okay.
Oh,
Go
okay.
ahead, please.
The statement apartment. Sorry, how many do you have a 3-bedroom there?
No, we don't have any 3-bedroom units at the statement residences at the moment. The 3 beds are sold out.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bisido, do you have any closing remarks?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. It's been a good experience, and well, City Code Mortgage Bank has had a high rate of success in packaging mortgages. We are vast and well knowledgeable. We're a combination of staff who know their onions and hold their parts real strong. Partnering with PWAN has been good for us, one of our successes. And well, to speak to their properties, I personally have inspected 1 or 2 of their properties. Incidentally, I'm in charge of inspections at my office, and really, really good and quite spacious interiors for the ones that I saw. So, well, just to put a word to that and to say thank you again for the opportunity, and we'll look forward to getting positive indications from our audience. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that summary or for that conclusion, Bisido. For me, I also want to thank everybody who has joined us at this session. I know quite a number of us are potential clients, so I would like to encourage you to take that bold step. Like I said, while I was concluding on my presentation, dream, take that step, and ensure that you follow all the way through, right? Owning a house, owning a home is one of the most important things that you would do for you. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make throughout your lifetime, right? And I can assure you that at our company, at PWAN Stars, we are very big on quality, we are very big on speed, and we are very intentional regarding the way we do our business, okay? If any of you has not been to any of our sites and you want to visit, you want to inspect, please feel free to contact us. Ronke, do you want to post some contact numbers, maybe my number, your number, maybe the ED's number? You can post it on the, type it into the comments so that if anybody wants to contact us for inspections or for any further inquiries, they can do so. We are available Monday to Saturdays and on special request on Sundays, right? To take you to sites, take you to our various sites, both the newly launched products, the 2 products that we launched today, and our existing products within our portfolio. Very much willing to take you, to handhold you, and to guide you through the entire process. The process is very seamless, trust me. The moment you make up your mind that you want to invest, we'll take you through that process. We'll introduce you to City Code, and City Code will handle the mortgage aspects, and the rest will be done in a very seamless manner. Okay, so that's it from me. Once again, thank you all for joining this meeting and for being a part of this meeting, and hopefully we'll talk again sometime soon. Oh, there's a question. Someone is saying, Uche Edward, I think he spoke earlier. Uche Edward Realty. You want to ask a quick question before we close?
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity you have given us today. But however, I want to plead. It's an appeal. I don't know. Maybe you can. We can arrange with you from Majestic Center, Bariga, so that maybe you can send a bus to us so that we can come and inspect all your properties. So that we can actually enhance our visibility in terms of marketing, so that we can have a first-hand video, a physical site inspection of all those properties. So that is why I'm trying to.
Okay, you can contact Runke. Runke's number is the last number in of the three numbers that she's posted on the contacts, on the comments, right? So you can contact her and she would work with you regarding that request. Okay?
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome. Okay, Runke, over to you to close.
Okay, so thank you everybody for attending tonight's session. Please, for those of us that are still on the group, kindly send in your inquiries. You can, like I said, you can send message to any of the admins there. And please, if anyone sends you a message from the group that is not an admin, please ignore totally. Thank you once again for joining. If we have any other information to pass, we'll put it on the group. The slides will be sent, and then the recorded session will also be shared. Good night.
I'm a bit nice. All right.
Thank you so much, Runke. Thank you, MD.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Do have a wonderful night.
You too. Bye.